Top of the day, beautiful people. Hold on, I got it. 1 second. Oh. Take my hey. Top of the day, beautiful people. I'm really running behind this morning. I'm sorry, didn't lose track of time, but my husband was telling me this dream that he had last night with one of our friends that recently passed away. Came and talked to him, and he was telling him something. I was like, now I gotta go check into this. I gotta go test. I need to go check into what he said. Testing everything, even dreams and everything. But that's why I'm late this morning. Well, I got an excuse every morning. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna start getting back to being at least 5 minutes early before our actual start time at 7:15. That's what I said. I was like, I really got to make sure. I got to really start triaging my time and be here, because I said I was gonna be here 5 minutes early. Some of y'all probably ain't never heard that because I said a long time ago. But I really, really got to get back to that. So we start at 7:15 during the week, but I should be here at 7:10. And the same thing for the weekends. I should be here at 7:25, but we start on time at 7:30, right? Unless there's some absolute emergency that I cannot forego at the moment. But most of the time I let y'all know, hey guys, we're running a little bit behind. But anywho, Auntie Grand Rising, Alazar Shalom. Set apart, hey girl, hey Vinette, hey girl, hey Dana, hey girl, hey Hannah, Shalom, Shalom, sis. Hey girls, hey brothers, Shalom. All right, beautiful people. It is Monday, October the 3rd, 2022, day 229 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1247. Had double check my count, because sometimes I be writing too fast. 227, 228, 229. Yep, okay. And today we are picking back up with chapter 21 in Oahspe in the book of Judgment. Y'all, look. Yeah, maybe I should just tell y'all this now. I'm going to share a little bit later. Some of y'all are probably like, okay, whatever. But I share it. I do it. I not only share stuff with y'all to share it with you, but I need it for like marking points for me to remember different things. Yes, baby. Josiah already asked. He beat you to the punch this morning, Tootie. But I'll start this for you. He beat you to it this morning. First come, first serve. All right, go in my room. Find that Carmex. Put it on your lips, little girl. Matter of fact, when you find it, bring it to me. Hold on. Anita, hello. Hello. Greetings. That's what I'm about to do. What's your comment? Go ahead, Sue. Here. Hold on, y'all. All right, bring the lips together. Okay. All right, so look. There's 2 videos I'm going to share with y'all today, right? Let me tell you, I woke up thinking about this, just a lot of different things. And a dream that I had 23 years ago was triggered, right? So I woke up this morning and Crudy Mayo posted a video. And the only reason why I clicked on it first thing in the morning, I watch his videos anyway, but I haven't watched the last few. But his title got my attention, and he said, in the title, it was posted like 4 hours ago now, newspaper clippings from like ancient America, something like that. Newspaper articles from ancient America, things that they don't want you to know about America, something like that. But it was posted about 4 hours ago now, right? So it's about an hour, like 58, 59 minutes long. I watched some of it, at least like the first, I want to say it was like the first 7 minutes of it, right? When I got up, about 7 minutes of it. And then that video triggered another video that he mentioned that he said he did a few months ago, and to go back and watch. It's like 17 minutes long, right? So I'm not sure. Some of you may not have been here this long to even hear me tell this dream that I shared quite a few years ago. But some of you, at least I know some family members, they remember, right? Okay, so I had this dream while I was active duty military in 1999, right? It was the spring of 1999. This dream I'm now, although for years I've been searching into this dream, I'm just now, just this morning, figured out what the heck it meant. 23 years later. Okay, so in the dream, still pieces I'm pulling together. I'm absolutely mind blown right now. So I was out to sea. I was on my first med cruise, right? 19 years old. Hold on. 90. Yeah, 19 years old. We was out on the water, out in the Mediterranean, right? And I had this dream. And first of all, things that I noticed when I was out to sea, the dreams that I had, the vividness of it and the clarity that I got when I was out there, because I had like no responsibilities other than while I was out there working to get up, work. And then pretty much the rest of the day, if I wasn't drilling or studying or something, the rest of the time was mine. Me and my husband had already had our first son, but he was back here with my mom, so and my husband, he was going to college and everything. So, but out here, it was like the clarity was next to none other. Like I hear him just as clearly now in my latter years when I was first out there, right? And that's when I started the practice of fasting, right? Because I found some like-minded brothers and sisters who were still calling ourselves Christians at the time, right? But my heart was still pure in searching for the truth, even at 19 years old, just because of some experiences that I had when I was younger. I'm like, okay. So the dream was we was out there, and the captain came over to 1MC, and the 1MC, for people who haven't been in the Navy or whatever, is the loudspeaker for the ship, right? So the captain called me to the hangar bay. And so I came out, and I was curious as why he called me out of the entire ship. Like, it's like 5,000 other people on the ship. Why are you calling me? I must be in trouble, right? And that's what I'm thinking. I didn't say it, but I'm wondering this in my dream. So I get to the hangar bay. Okay, so I was on a Theodore Roosevelt, which is an aircraft carrier, and it carries the birds or the jets, the fighter planes and stuff, right? And so you see them on a flight deck, but they also have them on a hangar bay, which is another flight deck, but it's located within the middle of the ship. And on the sides of the ship, you have the hangar decks that can raise and lower from the hangar bay all the way up to the flight deck, right? And so I was over on the portion of it that raises up to the flight deck. And I came out there and I was looking out towards the horizon. And in a dream, we had stopped and we was anchored right out there in the middle of the sea. And I could see the land. We were getting close to land, but we still had a little bit ways to go, but you could see it over the horizon. The sky was as beautiful as I had ever seen, with the colors and everything. It's almost like how the sky gets like this mixture of colors, like orange hues and purplish hues and stuff like that when the sun is going down. It was looking like that. It was so beautiful. And then the captain came over to 1MC and he said, Pam, matter of fact, he called me by my full name. Well, my full first name. He said, Pamela. He said, we're about close to land. I need you to go, and this is what I heard. I need you to go down to Guatemala and help cut the lights on. No, he said, help cut the power back on for the people. And I looked around, I'm like, little old me? He said, yes, I need you to go to Guatemala and cut the lights on for the people, cut the power on for the people. And I just stood out there. And for a quick second in a dream, the land got closer and it blew up. You know how you're looking at a forest and you can see like all the trees, but you really can't see anything past the trees because there's so many trees. That's what I saw. And I'm like, and all I could think about was the jungles and all the wild animals in the jungles. And I said to him, and every time I think about it, I laugh. I said, this is what I said. I said, but Lord, there's lions and tigers and bears out there. And it just got quiet. I said, did you hear me? In my dream. He said, don't worry about that. You'll be fully protected. I'm like, okay. And look, and that was the end of the dream, right? Okay, so since then, since 1999, since me being 19 years old, this dream would come to me just periodically over the years. And every time I remember the dream, I start looking up stuff about Guatemala, right? So I'm like, well, what do I know about freaking Guatemala? Right? And so even recently, the last couple years, the last thing that I looked up, it hasn't even been a whole year. It's been like late 2021 and early 2022 where I started looking at it again. And I'm like, I'm not sure that I heard clearly, because I'm looking at this Guatemala. Because of course, first of all, I'm looking at it like, okay, face value, Guatemala. Let's look up the city Guatemala, right? It's located in Central America, right? And so I'm like, okay, so let's learn a little bit about Guatemala. That's when I started learning about Peru and the navel of the earth and all this stuff. And but then what kind of turned me off a little bit was that Guatemala has a really high crime rate, and they don't really like tourists over there. I'm like, first of all, I'll be a tourist. It's like you sending me to my death, ain't you? I'm like, and I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't even speak the language yet. What am I going to do in Guatemala, right? And here's where the video from Curry Mayo comes in at, right? And I've been thinking about this recently. I'm just like, I'm really, I really don't understand this, right? Because we're going to Mexico next year, right? And so I'm just like, okay, at least that's our plan. We're still gonna go. So I'm like, okay, I don't, you got to help me out, because I'm dumb here. I'm dumbfounded on this. I really don't understand. Like, what do I have that I could share with them to help them cut their power back on? And I could clearly tell it's not a power like lights in a house. I understood at least up to this much. It's like a spiritual awakening, right? So Curry Mayo releases a video about 4 hours ago. And the title caught my attention about, like I said, I'm gonna share it's 2 videos. He posted one, but in that one, about the 5-minute mark, I think it's about 5-minute mark, he talked about another video which caught my attention that has a title, Guatemala. And I didn't realize I completely missed it on my radio. I missed that video that he put out. So I paused that video and I found that video, which was 5 months ago, right? And I clicked on it. It's 17 minutes long. And so within it, here's what friggin' blew my mind, y'all, to where I know, all right, babe, where I am close, if I'm not on target with my life and what I'm supposed to be doing here, I'm pretty darn close to it, right? Listen, so he releases this video, and within it, he said, go back and watch this video. If you haven't watched it, it's about 17 minutes long. He said, and I give a detail about Guatemala. So I go looking at it, right? And so he starts talking about like not Brahma. No, he did mention Brahma. I forget which one, but he was mentioning Buddha and what his name was, right? And so I was like, oh, and what popped out to me, because while he's saying it, he's also using a visual when he said it. That's what caught my attention. I'm like, wait, that spelled just like Guatemala and Oahspe. And so I was like, I rewound it back because I was listening. I was listening because I was getting ready. I was listening, but I wasn't looking at the screen. And so when I happened to look at the screen, when he said it, it was across the screen. I was like, wait, what did he just say? And I went back. I was like, okay, let me start it over. And I watched it. So he started talking about Buddha and what Buddha's name was, right? And so he got into some details about that. But as he showed one of the references, and he gives a lot of the references that he used, and one of the references was from, that's what I was trying to figure out, right? I was like, what is this reference? Because it was real small, I had to pause it. And here's what caught my eye when I blew it up. He didn't read this line, but about 2 lines above, a name caught my eye, and it said B. Nubero. I was like, wait, hold on. Rewind it a little more. And I was trying to catch it. And at about the 4th time, I was able to catch it just in time while the screen, because it was a really quick shift, while screen shifted, it said J. It was the last letter on the line above. B Nubero was J. I was like, John B. Nubero. I was like, hold on. What is this reference he's using? Because whatever this reference was referencing what something he had said about the Americas. And then it goes down and talk about how America's original name was Guatemala. And then he started getting into the translation of how Guatemala became Guatemala. I was like, holy crap. And everything started bloop, 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 bloop. And the dream came back to me again. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So what if you wasn't saying this? Look, I'm talking to the Father this morning, and I'm trying to hurry up. And I'm in the shower and stuff because I'm already almost late, right, to the video. I was like, wait, Guatemala, Guatemala. The way he pronounced that and the way they spell it is it's an E instead of an A. Oahspe has an A, but how they pronounced it was was it Guatam. And I'm gonna pull it up so y'all can see it. But it's Guatama. No, that's not what they said. I'm pronouncing it Guatama, right? But they pronounced it Guatemala. That's what it was, Guatemala, right? I'm like, hold on. And then he brought in the part where they added the la, right? Guatemala. I'm like, holy crap. And so I was like, hold up. And so about this time, this is where I paused at. I'm like, wait a minute. And so I was like, wait a minute, Father, hold on. I was like, I got to start this video in a few minutes. And then when I was trying to finish my thought, I was like, Father, I got to come back to this. I was like, there's definitely a link with my dream from 23 years ago when I was 19 years old, when you said Guatemala, but I probably wouldn't have recognized it. I wouldn't have recognized the actual saying of it. So what I heard him say was what I would recognize in this time. I'm like, holy crap. And I just kind of put the pieces together. So the Americas was originally clearly here. I called it Guatemala, but it was Guatemala. I'm like, wait a minute. So that's as far as I got this morning, y'all. Before my husband started sharing his dream about our friend. So I got a whole bunch of stuff. It's like going through my head and everything that we're reading through Oahspe and some of my spiritual experiences that are kind of like lining up, right? So I'm going to share it with y'all. Just in case y'all have a little bit more information than I do at this time, where y'all can share it with me. Clearly, I'm going to go back and watch these videos and trying to pull out all these references that he mentioned. I just didn't have time to do it this morning. That way I can kind of just like put all these pieces together. So what I get from my dream 23 years ago is exactly what I'm doing now, bringing out the truth about who we are and who the Father is, what he's created us to be, the time cycles, the growth of our life, help cut the power back on for the people of Guatemala, or Guatemala, or Guatemala, right? I'm like, you were the best thing that I've ever known. It took me 23 years just to get to this little part, but it's amazing. But anyway, I want to share that before we even got started this morning. Hold on. I just had to get it out. Otherwise, I'd probably be distracted trying to figure out stuff. But yeah, so if y'all got any kind of information about any of those things, share it with a sister, right? When I post the videos, y'all can like send me an email, text, put it under the videos, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I don't care. Just get it to me. Make sure I see it, right? Okay. All right. Father, you are unforgettable. All right, y'all. So let's start the reading today in the book of Judgment on page 684. We are in chapter 21. But first, I need to say hey to a few people. Nene, shalom, sis. Audrey, shalom. Jamia, shalom. Hannah, hold on. Is this the same Hannah over here? Hold on. It is. You came over to YouTube. Alazar said, shalom. Global Purpose, Grand Rising, sis. Yazo Fit. Shalom, shalom. Miss Amazing Wonders, Infinite Rising. Derry CM. Shalom, shalom. Stephen, peace and blessings. Deshaun, the intuitive goat. Top of the day. Happy new day, sis. All right. Chapter 21. God decreeth against infidelity. God said, hear the words of thy God, O man. In the ancient times, I came as a father to a child, dictating unto man. Now that thou hast attained to comprehensive judgment, Jehovah hath inspired thee to liberty, and to think for thyself, and to consider what is best for thee. Bless you. And thy God cometh and thy God cometh not now as a dictator, but as thy elder brother with ample experience. And I say unto thee, after the manner of thy professors in the college, to their graduated classes, behold, thou art free. Go thy way, and no longer hope to hold thy God accountable for thy behavior. For with thy freedom, thou also attainest to responsibility. Think not, because I emancipate thee from the God and Lords and Saviors of the ancients, and from the Bibles and sacred books of the ancients, and from the ancient commandments and injunctions, that as a consequence thou art not bound in fidelity to thy Creator. Right? That's amazing. We see that happens for us here, right? Just because we leave out of our parents' house as we get older doesn't mean we negate everything they taught us. Rules on how to conduct yourself when you get out there, right? We're giving you freedom. We're giving you liberty now. You don't even got to listen to any more of what we say. We give you the responsibility. We let you go so you can do things on your own. But remember the teachings we taught you when you were here, when you were growing, because they still apply. Although we're not making you and holding you to things, we're leaving it up to you to choose what applies where and when, right? It's the same thing that's happened to us right now. When it's time to cut off the Lords and Saviors, it's time to move out of mom and daddy's house and begin to put into practice while we grow all that we've learned up until this point. Let me read that again. Let me just start over. Listen. Verse 1. Huh? What do you mean what I'm trying to say? Oh, you thought I was trying to be funny?
No. I know you weren't trying to be funny. I was just saying.
They hit you deep down in your shot, huh, son? That's my oldest son, Elijah. He said, what you trying to say, Mom? You know, he's in his growing path at the moment.
If you feel some type of way, maybe you do need to change.
Well, hey, you said it, not me.
I know, Mom. I know. I'll be out here in the next 3 months. No.
Really?
No, Mom.
I'm about to say, what you got something popping already? I'm about to say, I can have my room back and actually turn it into my office.
All right, Mom, you saying too much, not too much on me.
Oh, I mean, you started this, son.
Look.
God said, we're back at verse 1, y'all, page 684. God said, hear the words of thy God, O man. And in the ancient times, I came as a father to a child, dictating unto man. Now that thou hast attained to comprehensive judgment, Jehovah hath inspired thee to liberty, and to think for thyself, and to consider what is best for thee. And thy God cometh not now as a dictator, but as thy elder brother with ample experience. And I say unto thee, after the manner of thy professors in the college to their graduated classes, behold, thou art free. Go thy way, and no longer hope to hold thy God accountable for thy behavior. For with thy freedom, thou also attainest to responsibility. Think not, because I emancipate thee from the gods and lords and saviors of the ancients, and from the Bibles and sacred books of the ancients, and from the ancient commandments and injunctions, that as a consequence thou art not bound in fidelity to thy Creator. More art thou bound now than before, for thou shalt not henceforth throw the responsibility of thy conduct onto this man, nor this God, nor that Lord, nor Savior, nor holy book, nor Bible, nor priest, nor church decree, so that thy fidelity to thy Creator and to thy fellow man in righteousness, love, and good works shall be the most sacred study of thy life. And thy example from day to day shall be a perpetual register of thy accountability. Verily shalt thou be a living sermon before men and before Jehovah. Hey, son. Jonathan coming to get y'all?
No, I'm going on lunch.
Oh, okay. And thy example from day to day shall be a perpetual register of thy accountability. Verily shalt thou be a living sermon before men and before Jehovah. And wherein thy behavior detracteth, and wherein, we're on verse 11, page 684, y'all. And wherein thy precious behavior detracteth from the grades of thy fellow men, thou shalt be bound in the behavior of those that copy after thee. And for the shortness thou bringest them into, thou shalt suffer for them in time to come. Yep. We take responsibility for all of those who follow after our example. Let me read that again. Verse 10, page 684. And thy example from day to day shall be a perpetual register of thy accountability. Verily shalt thou be a living sermon before men and before Jehovah. And wherein thy behavior detracteth from the grades of thy fellow men, thou shalt be bound in the behavior of those that copy after thee. And for the shortness thou bringest them into, thou shalt suffer for them in time to come. Beware, O man, for this rule applieth unto all the generations of men, that by sudden emancipation from an old condition, man runneth into another extreme, from which spring libertinism and licentiousness. For which reason, rather shalt thou proclaim before the multitude the responsibilities of the new condition than try to win their applause by proclaiming their emancipation from the old. What you look for, babe? What? Holy crap. We went to Chesapeake Square.
Trying to upgrade wallets to a tracking wallet.
Go ahead, that's Alicia. Chesapeake Square. Chesapeake Square. Go ask him if he's going over there real quick.
What number movie theater you in?
The one that got Avatar playing in. I think it was 6 p.m. No, we weren't. And we sat like at, we sat at, we do. Ask your dad if he going there. Go ahead, just call real quick. Oh my goodness.
How many cards did you have in?
Yo, they got the business cards.
I know how many cards.
Yeah.
That determines how long y'all gonna be doing.
Okay, let me, Father, keep that wallet hidden until we get done. Please don't let nobody be found that wallet. I hope it fell down where nobody can see. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. I'm gonna keep going, right? Because our money is protected. The cards can be locked. Even if somebody's done something, it'll be restored by the bank, right? For fraud. So let me just keep going. Let me focus. Listen, Mom, shalom. Go ahead, son.
Can you vouch for this?
I can vouch for that. It works.
Taste.
And who told you to drink my bitters? I told you to buy your own. Say like get some here really quick. Mm-hmm. I had them in like 4 days after my order.
What?
Yes.
Do they work as equal as just like the bitters?
Yeah, they work just like y'all keys, but they
come
work
like
faster.
This will be a lot more easy.
Listen, you gonna replace my job. Look, okay. Verse 12. We're on page 684, verse 12 in chapter 21. Beware, O man, for this rule applieth unto all the generations of men, that by sudden emancipation from an old condition, man runneth into another extreme, from which spring libertinism and licentiousness. For which reason, rather shalt thou proclaim before the multitude the responsibilities of the new condition, than to try to win their applause by proclaiming their emancipation from the old. Because I have opened the heavens, the spirits of the dead return to thee, and commune in thy household. Flatter not thyself that the whole of the Father's kingdoms are revealed to thee, and that the angels who converse with thee can make plain the dominions of the higher heavens. Let me read that again.
Is this okay?
I don't know. I didn't make that. Alicia made that, but I'm sure it's okay. She was taking it every day. I don't know.
Is this the proper spoonful?
I don't know. You got to call and answer about those.
Y'all are weird if y'all take this.
Boy, they don't want to see all that. Go on over there. It's, boy, sea moss tastes like sea moss. Take it. Listen.
It don't taste like nothing.
You were interrupting my videos. I'm sorry. Verse 13. For which reason, rather shalt thou proclaim before the multitude the responsibilities of the new condition than try to win their applause by proclaiming their emancipation from the old. That's good in itself right there, right? Instead of looking back from what we've been set free from, look ahead to what is open before us. And I see a lot of that going on. Like, why are we arguing about stuff that some stuff we can't prove, some stuff we can, but let's test these things now and where we're going. Verse 14, because I have opened the heavens, the spirits of the dead return to thee and commune in thy household. Flatter not thyself that the whole of the Father's kingdoms are revealed to thee, and that the angels who converse with thee can make plain the dominion of the higher heavens. Many of these shall return to thee, saying, there is no hell, no Satan, no God, nor Lord, nor anything in this world to make thee afraid. For of a truth, the hell they looked for, they found not, nor found they a God, nor Lord, nor Savior, such as they had hoped to find. And for this reason, such angels are jubilant for the time being. Nevertheless, a time shall come to them also when they shall tire of dwelling on the earth in the places of their mortal kin, and they shall seek resurrection into more exalted places where wisdom and purity dwell. Then indeed shall they begin to comprehend the ways of the kingdoms of the Almighty. And they will cry out in pain, pleading for pity, compassion, and help. I'm sorry, this just reminded me of a dream of my aunt who passed away. She came to talk to me. This is the first time she ever said anything to me. And this was like last week. And she said, Pam, help me. No, she said, Pam, I'm not okay. Help me. And I'm just like, all these things with all these people that's been passed away, they talking to me. I'm just like, Father, you gotta help me with this, because it's just more and more day by day. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Well, clearly I know a portal, something has been opened, but all of this, I'm like, you really gotta help me go through this and understand what's happening. So sometimes I'd be like, and I really only share those things like with my sister and my mom. And it's crazy, y'all. I mean, not crazy, but I'm just like, I gotta be careful.
No, see, that would have come out.
Listen. And they will, verse 17, chapter 21. And they will cry out in pain. Hold on, y'all. I don't know, I'm getting all choked up about this. Hold up. Hold on. Yeah, I know, right? It just hit me.
Don't worry. Because best believe if you were to come out of nowhere and say help me, I would have just I couldn't handle that. Nope.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna put myself together. Hold on.
Go ahead, take your time.
All right. Okay. Verse 17. And they will cry out in pain, pleading for pity, compassion, and help. And after that, when they come to thee, they will also proclaim, even as thy God now doth, that the commandments must be fulfilled. Verse 18, to love the Creator above all else, and thy neighbor as thyself. Sell all thou hast and give to the poor. Return good for evil. Do good unto others with all thy wisdom and strength. Abnegate self in all respects, making thyself a servant to thy Creator, owning or possessing nothing under the sun, and look into thy soul to judge thyself constantly, to discover where and how thou shalt do the most good. Complaining not against Jehovah for anything that happeneth, making thy neighbor rejoice in thee, making thyself affiliative, without self-righteousness above anyone, being a producer of something good, and learn to rejoice in thine own life with singing and dancing and with a jovial heart, paying due respect to rites and ceremonies, that all things may be orderly before Jehovah. Remember the words of thy God, O man, when angels or men advise thee against these commandments, they have little to offer thee that will promote the harmony of the state. Consider therefore that whatsoever promoteth the greatest harmony and wisdom within the state hath also been discovered and is in practice in the higher heavens, and wherein it hath been proven to thee that a state divided against itself cannot stand, even so are the heavens above not divided, but as a unit. Judge then, O man, when one spirit cometh to thee preaching one thing, and another spirit cometh to thee preaching another thing. Their words are proof that they have not yet entered the harmonious heavens of thy God. And it is because of the inharmony of thy own soul that thou art open to these conflicting messengers. Wow. Listen. Yeah, we got to be careful, y'all. We got to make sure we are completely whole, our souls and everything. Listen, let me go back. Verse 36. Judge then, O man, when one spirit cometh to thee, preaching one thing, and another spirit cometh to thee, preaching another thing. Their words are proof that they have not yet entered the harmonious heavens of thy God. And it is because of the inharmony of thine own soul that thou art open to these conflicting messengers. This is infidelity against the all person Jehovah. And such conflicting spirits deny the person and the unity of the Almighty. Let not thy emancipation from the bondage of the doctrines of the ancients lead thee into infidelity against Jehovah. Wow. Hold on. Jeremiah, can you cut on the air, please? I turned it off last night, but please cut it back on. Wow. I thought about the scripture in the New Testament. Remember when JC said, Satan cometh to me, but findeth nothing in me? I guess that's kind of like the same thing, right? Because of the inharmony in thy own soul, thou art open to these conflicting messengers. Like you draw to you what you have, like whatever frequency you on, you draw that to you, whether it's humans or those who have already passed into the S world or in the spiritual world, right? Good or bad, right? If you're constantly a negative person, things go from bad to worse for you, right? But if you're a positive person, you always try to find the good in things. You always find the silver lining in things. You just the most amazing things happen for those type of people, right? Because they put themselves in that frequency. They open themselves to those type of things. Therefore, those things are drawn to them like a magnet. Verse 38, let not thy emancipation from the bondage of the doctrines of the ancients lead thee into infidelity against Jehovah. So just because we putting all the lords, the gods, and saviors away, don't forget the rules of the house. And don't let this lead you into infidelity against your creator, right? Don't get out there and act like you ain't got no sense. Don't remember where you came from, right?
I mean, I kind of don't. No, so can't blame me in my ignorance.
But you ain't really been outside the house yet either, son. Right? Your time is coming. You only 19 years old. Yeah. All right.
Not in a cricket way though.
But you can see this principle in the lives of a couple of your cousins. Look at the ones that left home and forgot where they came from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, think about it.
Mm-hmm. I realized that a while ago.
Okay. Chapter 22, y'all, page 685. And the subtitle under chapter 22 or chapter XXII, the Father's Kingdom on Earth. God said, I have heard thy prayer, O man. Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Hast thou considered thy words? Art thou prepared for it? Hast thou fulfilled the commandments? And lovest thou thy neighbor as thyself? And hast thou done unto the least as thou desirest thy creator to do unto thee? Now behold, Jehovah hath sent me, thy God, to answer thy prayer. I demand of thee that thou hast no favorite doctrine above thy neighbor, and that thou art servant to no God, nor Lord, nor Savior, nor church, unacceptable to any man in all the world, but that thou
Sorry to cut you off, but who said that? Is that like a law the creator put in eons ago?
This is the current God who's ruling, who is connected to the creator,
Current
right?
PC.
Remember, God is not creator, right? It's just like when we leave the house, like dad would be creator, right? When dad leaves, I'm co-creator with dad or whatever. I'm trying to make this make sense. Okay, so say me and your dad are out the house, right? Say we're God, right? We're one, we're two, come together with one. Say me and dad are God, right? No, I'm sorry, we're creator. When we leave. If Elijah's not here or whether it's you, whichever one we leave in charge, you're like standing God while we're away, right? So what you're pretty much doing is passing down the information that you get from us to your brethren and your sisterin, right? It's the same thing that's happening here. God, he's passing down the wisdom from the creator to everybody else here. And he rules. While he's on the throne, he's responsible for earth and the heavens above the earth, right? But everything in Ethera, he doesn't control any of that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. One more question. Out of all the mortal realms, is Earth possibly the only one?
No.
Oh.
No, with a resounding no.
So we got other dudes out here that look like us.
Yeah, I mean, this is not we.
Because I'm thinking this body shape is a foreign look to others, but I don't know how well acquainted this body is around the universe.
No, son. We all look alike, right?
Literally,
we develop.
humans somewhere else look the same.
Yes.
Take all the inches and stuff away.
I mean, we develop over time, right? We'll talk about this, son. We'll talk about this. I got a whole thick book that goes through mankind's origins and the different skull forms and all of that, the different types of people.
It's all good because when I was younger, I couldn't really see any of that extraterrestrial life, not being human, well, not human, but not having this type of like body shape. For a simple fact, I cracked this when I was young. The body is pretty perfect in how it is and how it functions and stuff. Just taking into consideration everything you do a day, and now look at your hands and everything. Look at animals. Look how gorillas don't have that. Look at all of that. Well, our area of area of specialties isn't trying to be a barbarian amongst the land, but more so you kind of hear the girl.
Yeah.
I don't know how to really explain it.
You just kind of summed it up. He said, we're just here to grow. Okay. All right, son, can I finish this? We'll have this conversation.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Also, don't be angry at technology. It's not the technology. It's a neutral point. It's whoever's doing it. Please.
Okay. All right, son, we'll have this conversation. Jeez, I mean, who's doing the video? Him or me? Okay, I'm sorry. Listen. Verse 1, we'll start over. God said, I have heard thy prayer, O man, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Hast thou considered thy words, and art thou prepared for it? Hast thou fulfilled the commandments, and lovest thou thy neighbor as thyself? And hast thou done unto the least as thou desirest thy creator to do unto thee? No, Bella, put it back. Now behold, Jehovah hath... What you about to ask me? Yeah, I knew you was about to ask me that. I said no. Now, behold, Jehovah hath sent me, thy God, to answer thy prayer. I demand of thee that thou hast no favorite doctrine above thy neighbor, and that thou art servant to no God, nor Lord, nor Savior, nor church, unacceptable to any man in all the world, but that thou servest Jehovah with all thy wisdom and strength by doing good unto thy fellow men with all thy might, that because thou art strong or wise or rich, thou understandest that thou shalt use these excellencies for raising up such as have them not, believing that Jehovah so provided thee to that end. Consider, O man, thou hast a kingdom already. Wouldst thou have two kingdoms? And after two kingdoms is reference letter C. So remember, the letter references are at the end of the book. So go to page 700, and C says, the two kingdoms are an earthly government based on man's laws, and Jehovah's kingdom on earth, a government based on the Creator's principles. Okay, go back to page 685, and I read verse 8 again. In chapter 22, Consider, O man, thou hast a kingdom already. Wouldst thou have two kingdoms? Behold, the kingdom of man hath its power in armies and ships of war. The kingdoms of thy father have not these, but love, wisdom, righteousness, and peace. I demand of thee that thou shalt give up thy army and navy. Art thou prepared to say, to whom smiteth me on one cheek, I turn the other to be smitten also? Is thy faith still more in weapons of death than in the voice of the ever? I'm sorry. Is thy faith still more in weapons of death than in the voice of everlasting life? Esteemest thou thy army and navy more to be dependent on than Jehovah? Art thou willing to sacrifice thy time and money and self interest for sake of Jehovah's kingdom? Use thy judgment, O man, since the time of the ancients till now. The only progress towards the Father's kingdom hath been through sacrifice. What less can thou expect? If thou sellest what thou hast and givest to the poor, behold, thy neighbors will imprison thee for a madman. If thou abnegate thyself and labor for others, they will persecute thee and revile thee. If thou shouldest profess to love thy neighbor as thyself, they would mock at thee. Therefore I declare unto thee, O man, in the land of Uz, the Father's kingdom cannot be. Wow. And Uz, remember we went over Uz yesterday. And right here after Uz, it has reference letter D. So go back to page 700. D says, in this case, Uz, UZ, mean, in this sense, Uz must mean world's people. 1882 edition. Okay, so go back. Last verse, verse 20 of chapter 22. I go to 19. Therefore, I declare unto thee, O man, in the land of Uz, the Father's kingdom cannot be. But thou shalt go hence, and behold, I will go with thee and with thy neighbors, and show thee how to build, even as a kingdom in heaven. Next chapter, chapter 23, or chapter XXIII. And under the chapter number, the subtitle says, God judgeth Uz, commonly called the world's people. Verse 1. God said, I am not come in this era to judge the drunkard, the harlot, and thieves and murderers. These are known unto thee, O man. I am not come to repent. I am not come to repeat former judgments against whom all men understand to be sinful. For behold, I gave governments into the hands of men to deal unto such themselves. But I am come to the leaders of men, to kings, queens, emperors, and presidents, and to philosophers and men of learning, priests, rabbis, cardinals, and popes, and merchants, bankers, manufacturers, farmers, shippers, and hucksters, such as pass unscathed before the laws and governments of man, and are reckoned passably wise and good before the world, and not even to such of these as are bad men in disguise, who escape condemnation before the courts by cunning and stratagem. But I am come to the best of all of them, be they true Brahmins, true Cayuans, true Buddhists, true Christians, or true Mohammedans. Therefore, O man, hear the judgment of thy God against them. They are not united and affiliated as brothers. But the best of all of them are as so many individual but the best of all of them are as so many individual entities pulling in different ways, every one for himself. The Brahmins are not communal. The Cayuans are not communal. Neither are the Buddhists, nor the Christians, nor the Mohammedans, neither the philosophers, priests, merchants, nor any one people in all the world. There is no fullness of heaven amongst any of them. They are divided into thousands of ideas and projects. Now hear me, O man, and consider the wisdom of thy God. Satan is wiser than any of these I have named, for Satan hath made armies of soldiers communal. He hath discovered the power of affiliation and discipline. Behold, 1,000 soldiers are more efficient than 10,000 men unorganized. Judgment is rendered against the best of all men in the world because they are inorganic for righteousness and for establishing the Father's kingdom. Wow.
I don't know.
All right, son.
Oh, gang.
He said, all right, gang. Look. Judgment, verse 14, page 686. Let me read 13 again. Behold, 1,000 soldiers are more efficient than 10,000 men unorganized. Judgment is rendered against the best of all men in the world because they are inorganic for righteousness and for establishing the Father's kingdom. This then is what befalleth the nations and peoples of the earth. Alike and like the angels of heaven minister unto mortals, save wherein thy God and his lords provide especially otherwise. The inorganic heavenly regions to the inorganic inhabitants of the earth. Now, behold, I said unto thee in the olden times, try the spirits and see if they be of God. For the angels who wander about the earth know not my kingdoms, and they deny me and deny all order and system and discipline in heaven and earth. And each and all such angels coming to mortals do so on their own account, assuming any form and name they may find acceptable unto men. Such angels have not yet passed the first resurrection, nor belong they to any disciplined kingdom in heaven. And after such angels have not yet passed, after pass is reference number 49. And 49 at the bottom says entered. So they have not yet passed or entered the first resurrection, meaning they still hovering around here causing trouble. Lying folk like they know something when they don't. Let me go to I'll go back up to 16 just to keep all this in its context. Verse 16 on page 686. Now behold, I said unto thee in the olden times, try the spirits and see if they be of God. For the angels who wander about on the earth know not my kingdoms, and they deny me. Go ahead, too. And they deny all order and system and discipline in heaven and earth. And each and all such angels coming to mortals do so on their own account, assuming any form and name they may find acceptable unto men. Such angels have not yet passed the first resurrection, nor belong they to any disciplined kingdom in heaven. And all mortals and all mortals, such as I have named to thee as the best and highest of mortals, enter the S world after death only into the inorganic regions of heaven. Neither can they enter the second resurrection until they abnegate self and learn affiliation. And after second resurrection is reference number 50. And 50 at the bottom says, they enter the lowest of my kingdoms until, and I just read the whole verse over again, verse 21. Neither can they enter the second resurrection until they abnegate self and learn affiliation. Therefore, after death, they remain for the most part in their former places. Y'all stop it. Stop. Therefore, after death, they remain for the most part in their former places. The merchant in his counting house, the banker in his bank, the shipper in his place, the pope in his place, the king in his, the farmer in his. And after the shipper in his place is reference number 51. And 51 at the bottom says, shipper in his place, the philosopher in his place, the pope in his place. Okay, so go back up and I'll reread. Starting at verse 21. Neither can they enter the second resurrection until they abnegate self and learn self. Neither can they enter the second resurrection until they abnegate self and learn affiliation. Therefore, after death, they remain for the most part in their former places. The merchant in his counting house, the banker in his bank, the shipper in his place, the pope in his place, the king in his, the farmer in his. Neither have they power or wisdom to go to any other place, and they stroll about like one that hath lost his master. Neither will they affiliate with other angels, but in stubbornness and moroseness persist in working out an individual identity until they are broken down in sorrow and darkness, which may be in a few years or it may be hundreds of years. And then my holy ones come to them and carry them away to my Easian schools. That's good. Y'all, look, the second time around reading this, remember how, well, we haven't done it since we started reading Oahspe because I wanted to give the same care to Oahspe like I did with the Bible, right? And once we got like the second time through and the third time through with reading the Bible, we started cutting the time down that we was reading the Bible, bringing in the other resources like the Apocrypha. So like the first 30 minutes of reading, I would dedicate to reading the Bible. Then the next 30 minutes, I would dedicate to reading an outside resource to help kind of confirm or disprove what we was reading so we could grow, right? Next time around, we're going to do that with Oahspe. And one of the ones we're going to read is definitely the Field Spirit Guide. Because it has not and I'm not reading it because it's a book somebody read, but because of the massive resources in it that we're going to share. Like every chapter, just like Oahspe has like the number references and the letter references, that book is also numbered and lettered in the same way. But at the end, in the index, it has all the chapters listed, and in each chapter it has each number reference and letter reference for each thing, right? Where you can go pull from either more ancient manuscripts, tests, scientific tests, medical tests that they've done on human bodies, testing when they're, when they realize that you can actually test the spirit, you can test spiritual energy around in a place, the haunting of houses, exorcisms, and all of that stuff. It has all of those resources. But it's really, really good, and it helps you understand some spiritual things, and it'll help you grow leaps and bounds in your spiritual walk and help you pay attention to some stuff, right? Okay.
That's too much.
Hold on. Let me read these last two verses, then we'll go to chapter 24. Where we at? 58 minutes? I think we'll read two more chapters and then we'll pause. Okay. Verse 23, page 686. Neither have they power or wisdom to go to any other place, and they stroll about like one that hath lost his master. Neither will they affiliate with other angels, but in stubbornness and moroseness persist in working out an individual identity until they are broken down in sorrow and darkness, which may be in a few years or it may be hundreds of years. And then my holy ones come to them and carry them away to my Easian schools. Chapter 24. And the subtitle under chapter 24 or chapter XXIV, it says, God showeth how to know the kinds of angels that minister unto mortals. That was good because that book is going to bring out some proofs and studies and stuff. It's gonna be great. It's gonna help us grow a lot where you can test the spirits and stuff and learn how to, decipher, is this coming from the creator or is this another spirit faking a funk trying to lead you astray? It's just gonna point out some obvious things that we were probably never really taught to pay attention to. Especially this stuff should be definitely, if you're still in church, they should be teaching this in the church, teaching you truth on this level. Not just things to keep you in bondage and in arguments and arguing over moot points and things, right?
Well,
Listen, yes.
Did I cut you off that?
Get to the point, son.
All right. But what is what monster should have when it comes to relationships?
Son,
I'm asking because I want to get into it.
just pick it up and read.
Is that it? Like, do you have to have a certain mindset?
Verse 1. God said, one rule have I given unto all men, whereby it may be known what kind of angels minister unto them. That rule is a mortal's own manifestations and behavior. Whoso manifested serving himself chiefly have little light from my organic kingdoms, but whoso serveth Jehovah by laboring for others with all his wisdom and strength is attended by the light of my organic kingdoms. Judge thyself, O man, as to thyself, who and what angels attend thee. Oh, that's a mouthful. That's teaching myself. All right. Love you too, son. All right, y'all be safe. Yes, you did. 14 hugs this morning. You already gave me, Jeremiah. Y'all have a wonderful day. Whoso manifesteth serving himself chiefly have little light from my organic heavens. But whoso serveth Jehovah by laboring for others with all his wisdom and strength is attended by the light of my organic kingdoms. Judge thyself, O man, as to thyself, who and what angels attend thee. Behold, one man will say, I have a band of wise and most ancient angels who attend me. Another will say, I have very gods who attend me. Judge them not by their words, nor by the names professed, but judge them by the work they accomplish. Nevertheless, hold thy peace in regard to them. I'm watching you. You said, I know the truth about you. I've tested the spirits who surround you. Listen, he said, hold your peace when you figure it out. Read it again. Verse 3. Judge thyself, O man, as to thyself, who and what angels attend thee. Behold, one man will say to thee, I have a band of wise and most excellent angels who attend me. Another will say, I have very gods who attend me. Judge them not by their words, nor by the names professed, but judge them by the work they accomplish. Nevertheless, hold thy peace in regard to them. This rule do I also give unto thee in regard to the angels who attend mortals. As for example, thou knowest that a soldier is not permitted to go away from his regiment and pursue other employment. The soldier belongeth to his regiment. He is one with the regiment. He moveth therewith. The affairs and business of the regiment are his affairs and business also. Even so is it with my organic heavens, wherein Esians become volunteers to accomplish resurrection. And thereafter they apply themselves not to isolated development, but to affiliation for attaining to the higher kingdoms. Yes, y'all got to turn it down. Turn it down. The least of my organic plateaus containeth 500 million angels, and many of them contain 5,000 million. And after organic plateau is reference number 52, and 52 says kingdoms. So the least of my kingdoms, or the least of my organic plateaus, containeth 500 million angels, and many of them contain 5,000 million. These are composed of thousands of branches suited to the various talents created withal, so that all who enter find a delightful adaptation. When thou wert taught of old to say, may thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven, it was instruction given to thee to lead thee in the method of my dominions. As to wandering spirits, they have not yet passed the first resurrection, but such as have enlisted in my organic kingdoms are called Esians whilst learning the rites and discipline, and are said to be in the first resurrection. And after, as to wandering spirits, they have not yet passed. After pass is reference number 53, and 53 says entered, right? And such as have become organic workers are in the second resurrection, and this is a kingdom of heavens. This rule is also uniform in all my heavenly kingdoms, that after entrance, bless you, that after entrance to the second resurrection, and after second is reference number 54, and 54 has first resurrection. So the previous edition, remember the footnotes at the bottom is telling us what the previous edition said, and this edition is the most up-to-date one, right? Okay. This, verse 15, page 687. This rule is also uniform in all my heavenly kingdoms, that after entrance to the second resurrection, none of the angels return as individuals to commune with mortals, save as hereinafter mentioned, or save when especially commissioned by me or my lords. Think not that my discipline is less systematic than that of a mortal general's army, or that the heavens of thy God are permitted to run at loose ends and without order or concert of action. Be reasonable, O man. Weigh these things according to thy own observation and judgment, for there is not in all the heavens any wide departure from what thou hast in some form a counterpart resemblance on earth. Don't I always say that? Everything that the Father is teaching us, we have an example already here on earth to prepare us as we learn, right? And as we grow in our understanding, we learn higher principles, and we should be becoming more spiritual at every level of growth, right? We should be constantly rising. The Father's kingdom is forever progressing. We should be forever progressing in our understanding of spiritual things. But a lot of people want to argue over the worldly and earthly things, completely forgetting the spiritual aspect of it all, right? And that's what baffles me right now with some of the debates. I'm like, have they not considered the spiritual side of all of this? None of them. I mean, with the exception of like some of the ones we know we talk about, like Selah and the ones like that, right? But you rarely ever hear them talking about it. They just argue over moot points, right? And just, it's like, I'm just waiting to see when they're gonna start getting to that part. Because that's the part that this generation, what we need in this era, is the spirit portion that we need now. Because that's the time of Cosmos. That's the time we're in, right? And it's very few people on the earth that are even hitting on those points, right? More people outside of the religions are talking about the spiritual aspects of this particular era than those who should be talking about it, those who should be teaching, right? Chapter 25, page 687. And the chapter is chapter XXV. The subtitle under that is God showeth how and when the second resurrection manifested unto mortals. And we're going to pause after this chapter. This is 17 verses because we had an hour and it's Monday. We got to get going. I got to make sure my husband has found his wallet. If not, I got to make some phone calls. All right. God said, in the cities and country places, I have innumerable lords apportioned to districts and to the more. Hey, you got to turn it down. It's still too loud, Zay. Turn it down. That's how. God said, in the cities and country places, I have innumerable lords apportioned to districts and to the mortals and angels thereof. And my lords know the rates and grades of their people, their occupations, their aspirations, their labor, their behavior, private and public. Now, behold, I have said unto my lords, the era of dictation is past. Man hath arrived at Cosmon. Declare ye the light of my heavens unto man, but let man judge himself and labor to save himself, that he may have honor and glory thereby. And I further said unto my lords, man hath prayed, saying, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Now this I give unto you, that where men abnegate self and affiliate into a communal brotherhood after the manner of my heavenly kingdoms, then shall ye affiliate my organic angels with such mortals and make them one with my second resurrections. And ye shall surround such communal brotherhoods with the light of my kingdoms, thereby controlling the angelic intercourse with mortals, so that Druhas and vampire spirits cannot molest them. And we know that that can happen, right? If you don't know, ask somebody that has happened to, right? You can surely be molested. And I think that's the appropriate word. You can surely be molested by Druhas and stuff, to whereby you will feel the effects in your physical body, right? Church called it demonic attack, right? Even to where some people don't like to talk about it, even to where the unseen spirits can actually come in and have sex with you. Then you can, people are actually talking about that. Church don't really like to talk about it a lot, but people that it's happening to in the other sects of life, I mentioned this before. Some people, they got a whole term for it, right? They call it chasing after ghost booty. Some people actually live to go find experiences to have sex with disembodied people, with the spirits. And it happens. They put themselves on that frequency and it happens, right? And it'll happen to you if you find yourself. I'm still not exactly sure how it happened, how it happened to me a few years back. I'm like, Father, I don't know what or how this could have even ever happened or why you even allowed it to happen to me. Right. But I'm even that still I'm trying to figure out why some things, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that what they're talking about ain't garbage because I've experienced it. Right. So it's a whole lot of things and a whole lot of questions I still have about certain things. And I'm like, yep, nobody's really giving me an answer to this, but I know what I experienced. I need somebody with some real answers about these things, right? And a lot of those things you get as you grow spiritually, as the Father reveals it to you, right? Listen. Verse 5. And ye shall surround such communal brotherhoods with the light of my kingdoms, thereby controlling the angelic intercourse with mortals. And this intercourse right here is not actually talking about the sexual experience, it's actually talking about communication intercourse, right? Thereby controlling the angelic intercourse with mortals, so that Druhas and vampire spirits cannot molest them. And these brotherhoods shall be taught to question not the spirits and oracles on personal matters, but for light and truth as to what will contribute to ameliorating the condition of man, and as to light and truth regarding the higher and lower heavens, and as to attaining spiritual gifts and great wisdom. Highlight that, people. I told you this whole book should be highlighted up, if that's the proper way to say it. Just highlight it, everything. Verse 7. And such mortals shall have times and places for worshipful matters, and these times shall be in concert with my Lord of that district, and the light of his throne shall be given unto such a brotherhood. The members of such a brotherhood shall not desire a leader, neither would any one of them desire to be a leader. For if one should so desire, he would not be of the Godhead, but of himself. Moreover, none of the members of such a brotherhood shall go off of his own accord to minister as an individual in the inhabitants. I'm sorry, verse 9. I'm going to read it over. Moreover, none of the members of such a brotherhood shall go off of his own accord to minister as an individual to the inhabitants of Uz, but each and all of the brotherhood shall concentrate their profits and force unto one end and object. Even so, O man, are my organic heavens, all the members of each heaven being as a unit with the whole, they waste not their strength and time in isolated endeavors, whereby when a prophet foolishly boasteth to thee as to having some high raised angel with a loud sounding name, as his special guardian and guide, know that such a prophet is in the hands of Druhas who have not entered my heavenly kingdom. We see a lot of them. We can spot them. They real easy to spot. Neither hath it ever happened on the earth with any individual man raised up by me or my lords for a specific work, like Moses. Let me read it again. Verse 12. Neither has it ever happened on the earth with any individual man raised up by me or my lords for a specific work, like Moses or Caillou or Zacchaeus or any other that they knew of or boasted of any especial angel over them, but all of them experienced the light which was as a pillar of fire. Even such is the manifestation of the second resurrection through my Lord and his holy council. And the manifestations are not like those of a mere magician, but the accomplishment of something that embraceth nations, empires, and mighty peoples. That's good. Let me go back. Read 13 again. Even such is the manifestation of the second resurrection through my Lord and his holy council. And the manifestations are not like those of a mere magician, but the accomplishment of something that embraceth nations, empires, and mighty peoples. For this reason, O man, I declare unto thee that the Father's kingdom is now being founded on earth, and the mortal manifestation thereof is near at hand. but it shall not come in this era, but it shall not come in this area as in the past through any one great leader forth, but it shall appear as a spontaneous light permeating the soul of thousands, and they shall come forth, establishing Jehovah in truth and fullness. Now, therefore, O man, consider the judgment of thy God against all such as are called the best of men, the wisest of men, the greatest of kings or queens or popes, for none of these have even passed the first resurrection in their own practice. And after even passed is reference number 55, and 55 at the bottom says entered. Now therefore, O man, consider the judgment of thy God against all such as are called the best of men, the wisest of men, the greatest of kings or queens or popes, for none of these have even passed the first resurrection in their own practice. And this is where we will pause at today. Look, I need to share something else with y'all. When we went to the movies to see Avatar, right? So it's the first Avatar. The second Avatar is released in December of this year, right? But let me hold on. Let me end this real quick. That way, if y'all gotta go, y'all can go. But I'm gonna give y'all a pointer when y'all go to see it. And it's something that blew my mind, which I got to go back. Let me end this first, and then I tell y'all because I'm gonna get talking. I'm gonna forget. Okay, thank y'all for hanging out, y'all. It is Monday, October the 3rd, 2023, day 229 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1247. We read in Oahspe the book of Judgment, a little bit more of the book of Judgment, chapters 21 through 23, which is found on page 684 to page 686. Father, we thank you for another awesome reading, and you are completely unblemished, right? Okay, so listen, if you go back, and I recommend that you go back, if you love Avatar, right? I'm an avid lover of Avatar, the Blue People movie, right? Go back and watch it. There are some scenes that have been added for the 3D effect, right? Which I'm sure that scenes has already been there. They probably just previously cut it when they released the first one, right? When they released it the first time. So it's in 3D, it's back in theaters. The experience was great. But in there, something that I noticed blew my mind. I said, what they just say? I was like, because I never noticed it. You know how sometimes you start studying something and then you see it everywhere? Because it may have been, you gotta plug it in. It may have been in the first one. I don't know. So I go watch it again just to see. But they said vortex. They said the word vortex. They showed a vortex in Avatar. Like what Oahspe talks about. I'm like, they read Oahspe. They read Oahspe. How come I didn't catch this before? Probably because the first time I watched it, I hadn't even heard of Oahspe myself. Maybe it's already been there. Y'all let me know, right? I'm about to go back once I get done with everything. I'm gonna start playing it, and I'm gonna be paying attention to they at least what I counted when I started picking it up. They said vortex 4 times in there, right? And they showed. I'm like, yo, and when they showed like the screen and stuff, I started recognizing the pieces that they put in there. I'm like, you know what? This is amazing. I said, people that don't even call themselves religious, they're taking these truths and they are running with it. They're putting the truth out there for whosoever will catch it, right? But that just blew my mind, right? So y'all gotta go see it. It was really good. And here's a little tip if you didn't notice already, something my husband taught me when we go to the movie. So we sit back and we wait till the lights come on. Never leave the movie theater. I mean, unless there's like an emergency or something, just so you don't miss any of the scenes that are coming up, right? Everybody had left the movie theater last night. We knew not to leave till the lights come all the way on. When the lights come all the way on, that means there are no more scenes left in the movie that they want you to see or any kind of sneak previews. When you go see Avatar, really pay attention to it. Matter of fact, before you go, probably watch the first one on regular D, on where you can find it on Netflix or whatever, or Amazon Prime. Watch it, the original release. Then go to the movies and watch it in 3D, so you'll be able to immediately. I mean, if you watch it enough, you'll be able to immediately pick out those things and scenes that were added, right, from the beginning to the end. And some of the things is really nice how it like jumps out at the screen and stuff. A couple times me and my husband was like, oh, we did it at the same time. Like, This is 3D. Stop it. Right, but it was really, we really enjoyed it. But just pay attention to it and listen to when they talk about the vortex and the vortexing energy in Avatar. I'm like, people are so missing it, that are so religiously indoctrinated, that call themselves free, that are just not free enough yet to see a little bit more of the truth. But they headed in that direction, right? So that's my little share I wanted to share with you. Go see it if you get the opportunity. If it's been re-released in your area, the 3D version of Avatar the movie, you got to pay attention to it, right? Yeah. You welcome into it of go. Deshaun, love you too, sis. Okay. All right. So let me just scroll through real quick. I don't think I missed no questions or nothing. Wait, Alizar, who posted it? I think he was talking about what I was talking earlier. Kurimeyo Ahu. I think I said his name right. I'm gonna post it for you, Alizar, if you're still here. That's who posted it. It's the two videos. The first one I'm gonna post was the one that he posted this morning about the articles. And if you watch that through, that's an hour. I mean, you watch it in whatever order you want, but it's the second video, or the one that's 17 minutes that I was getting to. I'm gonna post that too. So just watch it. Y'all let me know any kind of information y'all got on anything he shares. All right. Or what you find out in your personal researching. Okay. Palala's candle. Shalom says, can you elaborate more on the giving away all your stuff? Should we start now? I'm gonna say take that up with your creator on what you need to give away. I ain't gonna tell y'all what to do. Right? We're just in the habit of giving anyway. You know, I like something one of my sisters, well, not my blood sister, but one of my sisters, one of the ladies I've met throughout life. We met at a church we used to go to, but she said something that always stuck with me. And we always kind of live by that philosophy anyway. She said, I don't want things to have me. I want the giver of those things, right? So if you have that type of heart towards the creator, you won't be compelled to just hold on to stuff, right? It's like, sis, if you need it, bro, if you need it and I got it, it's yours, right? Mi casa is su casa, right? That we just live out. I grew up with that philosophy being embedded into the very fibers of who we are, which is why probably not just my house. Y'all see my house before all the time. It's not just my house. Like my family members, everybody, and not just in my immediate family, but in like my overall family, even with aunts and uncles and stuff. Our house is always overrun. I ain't gonna say overrun, but people just find themselves at our houses all the time, simply because like the love and the way we genuinely treat people and we love people, right? And we want to see the best. Like if you need it, we got it. If we can help anyway, you got it, right? So I just look at it like that, right? Giving away all your stuff. I mean, if you're a hoarder, then there's a problem. You should give a lot of your stuff away, if not all of it. Start over fresh. Start with a clean house and just just make sure you got the basics, right? To start over fresh, and just, I don't know. Y'all get it. Kimball Mack, you ain't ever seen it? Yo, you gotta go see it. You gotta go see it. You gotta go see it. All right, y'all. That's it. I gotta take care of some business. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. And I will see y'all back here Wednesday. Wait, hold on. What day we leave? Yeah, Wednesday. Tomorrow we are celebrating the first Sabbath of this moon cycle, so we will not be here. But I'll see y'all back here Wednesday on the 5th. But Thursday, I've been trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. So what I think I'm gonna have to do, because our flight is so early and we are going to be in the air at the time of my recording. And we were looking for flights that at least if I'm in the airport or something, I could probably still do my video, but sometimes the Wi-Fi is shaky. But at this point, we will be in the air. So I'm going to have to do 2 videos Wednesday, right? I'm going to have to pre-record the one for Thursday, And now I'll set it, I'll put it on the schedule, and now I'll release it as a premiere. But if I have Wi-Fi connection, I'll be in a chat with y'all. So I'm gonna have to do that going and coming back home. I have to set it up that way. So the next what? Thursday we'll come back. It'll be this Thursday where it's gonna be pre-recorded, but it'll be as a premiere live the 6th, and also Friday, because I travel back, it's 2 days, it's overnight. Simply because all the flights that we had coming back out of Hawaii is in the evening time, you know. So that flight is gonna be overnight. So the video next Friday on the 14th is also gonna be pre-recorded, but it'll be released as a premiere. So like I said, if I have access to Wi-Fi, I'll be in the chat with y'all while the video was going on. All right. So with that being said, beautiful people, I think that was it. And I'll post those 2 videos. Give me a few minutes. I gotta check on something. Yeah, Sal, you can. Yeah, I'm gonna post those 2 videos about Kuri Mayu Ahu. And also I'll put, just in case y'all haven't seen or don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure everybody know what I'm talking about. I'll give you the preview of Avatar, the first release, but also at the end of the 3D one, it gives you like a 5-minute preview that I haven't seen on any of the previews for Avatar 2 that's going to be released. The Avatar underwater one is really nice. You got to stay, you got to watch it. All right. That's it, y'all. I love y'all. I'm out of here. I see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Oh. Yep. Okay. Not Saraya. Shalom. Shalom. Peace. Go ahead. Finish pressing that. Bye, y'all.